All right, so get ready to dive into something really different this time. We've got these letters, these really old letters and journal entries. And honestly, it's like we've stumbled onto a real-life literary mystery, you know?
Especially with this language. It's elegant, almost poetic at times. Reading these letters really is like getting a glimpse into another time, a bygone era.
It's true. We're about to enter the world of Robert Walton, an explorer who set sail for the North Pole in the late 1700s. And let me tell you, his letters are not your typical dry ship's log, no way. He describes the Arctic as the region of beauty and delight. Yeah. The region of beauty and delight, not just like, an empty wasteland of ice.
That's such a fascinating detail. It tells you so much about the man himself, wouldn't you say? This isn't someone driven by fame or fortune, not just that. There's a deeper fascination here, wouldn't you say? The fascination with the unknown.
Exactly. And it all starts with this incredible sense of hope, this anticipation. Picture this. St. Petersburg, late 1700s. Walton's practically bursting with excitement as his ship gets ready to sail.
A journey like that back then, it's almost unimaginable.
Right. He'd been dreaming of this since he was a kid, poring over his uncle's library, completely absorbed in these exploration accounts. Tales of far-off lands, undiscovered territories, the kind of stuff that just captures your imagination.
That yearning for adventure, that pull of the unknown, it's something that I think speaks to all of us, wouldn't you say? To push beyond what's familiar, discover something extraordinary.
Totally. And let's not forget where he's headed.
Yeah.
We're talking about the North Pole in the late 1700s.
Yeah.
This is a time when navigation meant relying on the stars and, let's be honest, a whole lot of luck.
Navigating through ice, treacherous waters, storms, the unknown, it required a different kind of courage, a whole lot of faith in your ship and your crew.
Especially the crew. And he describes putting this crew together in Archangel. Walton describes them as this, a rugged bunch, hardened by the sea, each of them with their own stories to tell. He talks about his lieutenant, this gruff Englishman. He says that despite his rough exterior, he possesses some of the noblest endowments of humanity.
It really makes you realize that appearances can be deceiving. Beneath those weather-beaten faces, those calloused hands, are stories, stories of hardship, of loyalty, of the strength of the human spirit.
And then there's the ship's master, a man who gave up his entire fortune, the woman he loved, all for the happiness of another. Can you imagine a sacrifice like that?
A poignant reminder, isn't it? The most profound journeys. They're often marked by profound sacrifices. And it really speaks to Walton's character, too. He surrounds himself with these individuals, people who embody that same spirit. Selflessness, this unwavering determination, these are the kind of people he wants by his side.
So we've got our intrepid explorer, his crew. They're pushing further and further north. They're braving all the perils the Arctic can throw at them. And then in his fourth letter, Walton writes, and I quote, "Imagine my astonishment. He sees something incredible."
This is where the story takes that first unexpected turn. Hundreds of miles from land, through the mist, the ice, a gigantic figure appears on a sledge, and then, poof, vanished, just as quickly as it appeared.
That image, right, just picture it. It sends shivers down your spine.
Yeah.
This vast, empty, unforgiving landscape, and then this apparition. What do you think it means?
Well, some believe it foreshadows what's to come, this incredible encounter that's about to unfold.
Okay, see, I like where this is going.
But it also serves as a stark reminder of the very real dangers they faced out there in the unknown. How nature at any given moment could turn on them in an instant.
And it does. Because shortly after that ghostly sighting, the ice breaks apart just briefly. And that's when they find someone. Or rather, something. Stranded on a drifting sheet of ice.
The stranger. Emaciated, weak, clearly driven to the brink, but there's something in his eyes, something that captivates Walton from the start. And this word he keeps using, demon, this thing that haunts him.
Right. What is this demon he keeps mentioning? Is it real? Or is it some, figment of his imagination, his mind playing tricks on him in this desolate, icy landscape?
As the stranger slowly recovers his strength, he senses a kindred spirit in Walton. A shared thirst for knowledge, for pushing boundaries. And that's when he starts to tell his story. His own remarkable and rather unsettling tale.
Ooh, a story within a story. Love it. Where does it begin?
Just like Walton, his journey started with a childhood fascination. He was utterly captivated by natural philosophy, determined to unravel the secrets of the natural world. Another boy lost in books, searching for answers in those pages, in ancient texts.
It's like they were meant to meet, isn't it? Two souls, separated by time and circumstance, but bound by this yearning, this drive to understand, to push the limits of human knowledge. It's like fate, almost.
Absolutely. And just as a powerful thunderstorm ignited a passion for knowledge in young Walton, the stranger had his own pivotal moment. He talks about experiencing the sheer awe-inspiring power of nature and realizing right then and there that he would dedicate his life to understanding it.
So he ends up at Ingolstadt University. It was a hub of intellectual thought at the time, steeped in tradition, new ideas bubbling up everywhere. Can you imagine the energy in those hallowed halls?
But even in such a stimulating environment, not everyone is accepting of every path to knowledge. The stranger, he talks about these two professors he encounters, two very different perspectives. There was M. Kremp, who basically scoffed at his interest in ancient alchemy, thought it was nothing more than superstition, outdated nonsense.
What a buzzkill.
Right. But thankfully, there's Professor Waldman, a man who sees the value in exploring all avenues of scientific inquiry, even those that have been, shall we say, relegated to the dusty corners of history. He recognizes that spark in the stranger, that relentless curiosity, and he nurtures it.
I'm Team Waldman, all the way. He sounds like the kind of professor who could make even the most complex theories come alive. I wish I had a professor like that.
And under Waldman's guidance, the stranger flourishes. He dives headfirst into his research, natural philosophy, chemistry, anatomy. And it's during this period of intense study, fueled by Waldman's encouragement, that he makes a discovery that changes everything.
Okay, here it comes. The big reveal.
He discovers the secret of life.
Whoa, okay, that's big. That's really big. No wonder he's been so secretive, right?
It's an earth-shattering revelation, the kind of discovery that could redefine humanity's place in the world. The thrill he must have felt, unlocking one of nature's most closely guarded secrets.
You're really setting the stage here. But,
Yeah.
And maybe it's just me, but earlier you said there was a darkness to this discovery too, that it wasn't all celebratory. What did you mean by that?
You're right, there's more to it. It's like the very act of unlocking this knowledge, of peering into the abyss of creation. It awakens something else within him. A darker ambition takes root.
Oh, okay, now that is ominous.
He becomes consumed by this desire to push the boundaries even further, to harness this power. He's discovered this power over life and death itself.
I can already tell this is going to be good. So where does he even begin? I mean, this is a massive undertaking, right? The equipment alone, the sheer scale of it, it boggles the mind.
That's where things get even more interesting, because in his journals, he starts describing his process, the tireless nights, the complete and utter dedication, the growing conviction that he is on the verge of achieving something truly extraordinary.
He sounds a tad obsessive, don't you think? Like he's lost himself in this work, shutting out the world.
Absolutely. He writes about the sheer size of his creation, how it dwarfed everything around it. It becomes this all-consuming focus. It's like the act of creation itself is consuming him, both body and soul.
And just when I thought it couldn't get any more intriguing, you're telling me there's a twist.
A twist indeed. Because just as we think we're about to learn what he's created, the narrative shifts. Instead of hearing about the creation from the creator's perspective, we're suddenly thrust into the creature's own narrative. We experience the world through its newly awakened senses.
Hold on. Are we about to see this whole thing from the monster's point of view now?
We are, and what a perspective it is. We go from the lofty ambitions of a scientist to the raw, confusing, often terrifying experience of being brought to life.
Wow. Okay, this is going to be good. Okay, so last we left off, there's this big reveal, right? We're about to dive into the creature story, see the world through its eyes. Where do we even begin with something like that?
Well, remember Safi, that mysterious woman who sought refuge with the DeLacy family?
Yeah. Fill me in. What's her story?
It's actually a big part of what happens next. Her arrival, it totally shakes things up at the cottage, especially for young Felix. See, they were once deeply in love, betrothed even, but circumstances.
Wait, they were engaged? No way.
Oh, yeah. But their love, it was thwarted, torn apart by prejudice, by society's narrow-mindedness. You see, Safi's father.
Oh, tell me he's not some, like, evil villain who forbids their love or something.
No, nothing like that. He was actually a Turkish merchant, a good man, but he faced a lot of discrimination because of his background. Despite his wealth, his status, society just wouldn't accept him.
So it's a Romeo and Juliet situation, but with, like, religious and cultural prejudice thrown in?
Exactly. And Felix, being the stand-up guy that he is, he couldn't stand to see this injustice. He vowed to help Safi and her father escape, to free them from this persecution, you know?
Wow. Sounds a lot like the same compassion that got his own family into trouble.
Right. It makes you wonder, are some people just hardwired for empathy? Like they can't help but fight for what's right, even when it means going against the grain, risking everything.
And probably why Walton was so drawn to him, right? Remember, he was drawn to his entire crew for those same qualities.
Exactly. And there's another parallel here, wouldn't you say? Felix, yearning for this connection, this love, but facing rejection because of who he is, who he loves, it's not so different from the creature's own experience, is it?
Oh, wow. I didn't even think about that. They both just want to be accepted, loved for who they are. But the world makes it so hard. So, okay, Felix is head over heels. But where does the creature fit into all of this? How does he react to Safie showing up?
He's completely captivated by her. Just like everyone else in the DeLacy family, he's drawn to her. Her beauty, her kindness, this exotic presence that she brings to the cottage.
That's got to be a welcome change of pace after hiding out in the woods for so long, watching these people, just live your lives.
Absolutely. And here's the thing. Safie's arrival. It's not just a shake-up to the family dynamic. It becomes this unexpected opportunity for the creature to learn even more.
Wait, but he already read all those books, right?
Yeah.
What more could he possibly have to learn?
Language. Remember, he's picked up some by listening to the DeLacys, but his understanding is still limited. But Safie, she's coming from a whole other culture, speaking a different language.
Ah, so he gets to be a fly on the wall for language lessons. Now that's what I call immersive learning.
Right. And it's not just about vocabulary or grammar. He's getting this crash course in cultural assimilation. He's witnessing firsthand those challenges of communication, the nuances of social customs, the very things that make us, well, human.
Wow. And here he is, this creature, piecing it all together, trying to make sense of it all.
And he sees himself reflected in her struggles, in her desire to belong, to find her place in a world that seems determined to keep her at arm's length.
It's both beautiful and kind of heartbreaking at the same time. This creature, witnessing this pure, genuine connection, this longing for belonging, all the while knowing that he can never truly be a part of it.
It's a cruel twist of fate, isn't it? To understand what it means to be human, to crave it with every fiber of your being, and yet be denied that very thing because of how you were created.
It's no wonder he's so drawn to the DeLacy family, especially Felix and Safie, right? They represent this ideal of love, this acceptance that he so desperately craves.
Absolutely. And as the creature delves deeper into their world, learning about love, about loss, about the beautiful messiness of human relationships, his own feelings of isolation, they just intensify.
It's like he's watching this play unfold right before his eyes. Seeing the best and worst of humanity. The love, the compassion, but also the potential for cruelty, for prejudice, for blind hatred. And he's experiencing it all through the lens of this one family.
It's a lot to process, and it leads him to a pretty big decision, a decision fueled by months, years even, of observation, of yearning for that connection. He decides to reveal himself.
No way. He actually tries to befriend them. Oh, man, this is going to be bad, isn't it?
He truly believes in his heart that if they can just see past his appearance, see the gentle soul, the intelligence beneath,
they'll welcome him with open arms.
Well, he certainly hopes so. He's been living in the shadows for so long, He craves that acceptance, that connection.
I can only imagine the mix of emotions he must be feeling. It's a huge risk putting yourself out there like that.
The scene is vivid in those journal entries. The creature, gathering every ounce of courage, stepping out of the shadows into the warmth of that firelight. He approaches them, his voice trembling. It's all there in his words.
Okay, I'm on the edge of my seat. Tell me they don't reject him. Please tell me that it isn't about to get even more heartbreaking.
Well, the old man, the father, remember, he's blind. He doesn't see the creature the way the others do. At first, he responds with kindness. He thinks it's just a lost traveler seeking refuge.
Okay, so maybe, just maybe, there's a chance his blindness will work in his favor. He'll see the creature's heart, right?
For a fleeting moment, yes, it seems possible. But then Agatha, the daughter, she sees him, and well, she screams. And Felix, driven by instinct, by this primal need to protect his family, he attacks.
Oh no, this is awful.
It's chaos. The creature, he's devastated. All those hopes, those carefully constructed dreams, shattered in an instant.
And that's when he snaps.
He flees. His heart is broken, truly broken. He escapes back into the wilderness, but this time, he's not just carrying the weight of his own creation, his own perceived monstrosity. No, this time it's so much heavier than that.
The betrayal, the rejection cuts so much deeper because deep down he believed in them. He thought they would be different.
He allowed himself to be vulnerable to hope and they crushed him. And this rage, this profound sense of injustice, it transforms him. It becomes the fuel for his next move.
He's not just going to sit back and take it, is he?
No. He sets fire to the cottage.
He burns it down.
Oh, wow.
The symbol of everything he ever wanted, family, warmth, love, acceptance, gone, reduced to ashes. It's this powerful, visceral expression of his despair, of the rage he feels.
And that's the turning point, isn't it? That's where he stops being the sympathetic creature, the one who just wants to be loved, and becomes, well, the monster.
The monster the world already believes him to be. The monster he starts to believe he is. Okay, I'm ready. So, the creature, he's out there, right? Consumed by this rage, this need for revenge. He's found his creator. It's the confrontation we've been waiting for. This is it.
The tension is so thick you could cut it with a knife. It's all right there in these journal entries. The fear, the anticipation.
Okay, so walk me through it. What happens?
Picture this. The creature, standing before the very being who brought him into this world, recounting the misery he's endured, the rejection, the loneliness, that agonizing awareness of his own perceived monstrosity.
He's not holding back, is he?
No, he lays it all out there, every bit of pain, every heartbreak. And then he issues a demand that shakes the creator to his very core.
Let me guess.
Yeah.
He wants to inflict that same pain on his creator, right? To make him feel that same loneliness, that same isolation.
Not exactly. He wants something far more unexpected, more unsettling even. He demands a companion.
He wants a friend.
He wants another being, another creature, just like him.
Whoa. Okay, I did not see that coming.
It throws us all for a loop. But when you think about it, it comes from that same deep well of loneliness, that yearning for connection. He argues that no human, no one who hasn't walked in his shoes, could ever truly understand him.
And another creature, another being like him. Well, that would be the one exception, wouldn't it?
What?
What a moral dilemma for the creator. What does he do with that? Does he give in? Does he create another creature?
Can you imagine being in his shoes? You've brought this being into the world, this creature, this thing that both terrifies and in a strange way compels you. And now it's demanding something that could have unimaginable consequences, not just for him, but for all of humanity.
It's like a horror movie, but he's the one who wrote the script. He's created his own monster, and now, what is? He's supposed to create another one.
The journal entries here, they're a whirlwind of emotions. He's wrestling with this impossible choice, the guilt, the fear. He describes the creature's eloquence, the raw desperation in his plea, and he's swayed by this sense of responsibility for what he's unleashed upon the world.
So what wins out? The responsibility or the fear? Does he agree?
He does. He agrees. He actually starts gathering materials, setting up a new lab, driven by this belief, this conviction that he can somehow control the outcome this time.
I can't believe he's really doing this. He's really going to create another creature. Is he insane? What is he thinking?
It's hard to say, really. Perhaps he thinks that giving the creature what he wants, that it'll somehow atone for his past mistakes. Maybe there's this tiny flicker of hope that this time, this second being, that things will be different.
Or maybe he's kidding himself, letting his guilt completely cloud his judgment.
And through it all, the creature's there, lurking. He's always watching, reminding the creator exactly what's at stake.
Talk about pressure. I'd have a nervous breakdown if I had to work with that thing breathing down my neck.
He describes it as this constant shadow, this chilling reminder of the creature's power, the potential for violence, the vengeance he's capable of unleashing. And it takes its toll. He starts having nightmares, doubting himself, questioning everything.
Good. He should be questioning everything. This whole thing is insane. So what's the breaking point? Does he finally come to his senses? Does he stop?
He does. Just as the second creature is nearing completion, there's this shift in the journal entries. This chilling realization washes over him. What if? What if he can't control his creations? What if they turn against him, against humanity?
You know what they say. Be careful what you wish for. He's in way over his head.
He realizes that he's risked unleashing something truly monstrous upon the world, and the creature's final threat, well, it seals his fate.
The creature threatens him. What does he say?
He doesn't have to say it explicitly. It's more like a promise, a chilling reminder that he will be with the creator on his wedding night.
Oh, hell no. Not his wedding night.
It's this looming threat, this reminder of the creature's reach, his cunning, his unwavering determination to make his creator suffer. And, well, he does suffer, the creature. He makes good on his promise.
He attacks him on his wedding night.
It's not a direct attack. The journal entries, they become fragmented here. It's clear he's heartbroken and devastated, but he talks about his best friend Henry, murdered. And then the death of his father, he's drowning in grief.
Oh, this is just awful. He's lost everything.
Consumed by guilt, driven to make things right, he dedicates himself to hunting the creature down.
So he becomes the hunted, in a way, the creator chasing his creation, trying to undo what he's done.
He chases him across continents, from the Arctic to the Alps, this relentless pursuit driven by a need for justice, for revenge, but also
Maybe.
a chance for atonement.
Does he find him? He does, in a remote corner of the Arctic, the very place where it all began. The creator, he's weak at the end of his rope, and he collapses.
Yeah.
And that's when Walton finds him.
Hold on. This stranger he rescues, the one who's been telling him this whole story this entire time.
Yeah.
It's the creator.
It was his story all along. He tells Walton everything. A cautionary tale, a warning about unchecked ambition, the dangers of playing God. And then, well, he dies, leaving Walton with this burden, this story. So what about Walton? What happens to him? Does he continue the pursuit? Does he take up the mantle of monster hunter?
He doesn't. He's so moved by the stranger's story, by his obvious torment. He sees himself in those choices, that ambition, that drive that can so easily lead us down a dark path. And he chooses to turn back.
Wow. He gives up on his dream.
Yeah.
After all that way.
Not exactly. As he's preparing to sail home, the creature finds him.
He boards the ship. No way.
He does. He's standing over the body of his creator, and it's the most bizarre thing. He's mourning, expressing remorse for what he's done, acknowledging the pain he's caused, the lives he's destroyed. He's become the monster everyone expected him to be.
He's self-aware. He knows what he's become.
And in a final act of, I don't know, maybe defiance, maybe despair, he tells Walton he's going to end his own life.
He's going to commit suicide.
He's going to build a funeral pyre and walk right into flames so that no one will ever create another creature like him ever again.
Wow. That's, I mean, that's a lot to process. What a tragic story.
Tragic, yes, but there's a glimmer of something else there too, isn't there? Hope, maybe. In those final moments, he chooses to break the cycle. He chooses to take responsibility for his actions. And he leaves Walton and us with this chilling reminder about the power of creation, yes, but also about the possibility of redemption, even in the face of unimaginable suffering.
That was incredible.
Oh.
I don't know what else to say. This has been a truly remarkable deep dive.
Thank you.
Like,